Okay, we're live. All right, here we go. Testing, testing. Today on Quality Time with Family Ties, we learn Tom Hanks is the type of candidate you'd want to drink a vanilla extract with. How's that? Was that all right?
I loved it. I loved it.
Okay, cool.
That was great. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Quality Time with Family Ties. I am one of your hosts, Scott Jones. Joining me, Mr. Paul Packler. Paul, how's it going?
I am stone sober.
Me too.
Yeah.
Sadly. Corey, what about you?
Stone sober.
When this episode came up, I was really kind of picturing in my head all of us being able to sit around, have drinks, and do this kind of like, Paul, the way you do your drunken live tweets.
Sure.
But sadly, it's early on Sunday, Sunday afternoon. And I'm working with kids later today, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that did not.
So you guys have been anticipating this episode for a very long time. Does it still provide you with an emotional punch?
Ish. Not because of the show itself, but I think Tom Hanks is able to make the script work better, and I think whatever emotional punch that it packs is because of what he imbues the character with.
My biggest issue, and it's not just with this episode, it's with all of the what I call the issue episodes. When Gary David Goldberg wants to present an issue, I feel like he's got the issue in one hand and a 2x4 in the other.
Yeah.
And
I'll totally agree with that.
Slightly Aaron Sorkinized by him. Like I'm just getting beaten over the head with whatever his point is. And in this episode, I thought the point was something that maybe we've seen it 100 times since then, but I gotta figure now look, Days of Wine and Roses beats this by age. So I've seen alcohol as a plot before.
Yeah.
And yes, I do agree with you, however, that Tom Hanks does give it some teeth, some gravitas.
Yeah. You can see where his career will go, that he is able to really use his likability to go into unlikable characters or make you empathize with people you normally would not, a.k.a. Philadelphia in 1992 or whatever.
And that's I think, the best point that you're making. Because if we put two and two together and go embezzler, alcoholic, if we do that, and you say to somebody, hey, I'm writing a character who's an embezzler and an alcoholic. You're going to go, oh wow, that's a piece of shit. That's a horrible human being. And in this case, everyone seems to be giving Tom Hanks a free pass for being Tom Hanks, and I still think he's a horrible human being.
Yeah, everyone is like fine with his drinking, even if they're a little leery about it, until he drinks the vanilla extract. Like,
right, that does it.
It's like, oh my God, he downed a bottle of NyQuil right in front of you.
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox's reaction to the bottle of extract is amazing.
Horrified.
Yes.
Horrified.
It's like if your own mother took off her sock and then started injecting heroin into her toes, and you're just like, oh my God, what have I stumbled upon? And that is what the vanilla extract is symbolic of for Michael J. Fox.
Yep.
All right, so if you're playing along, we are on Season 2, Episode 14, Say Uncle. And let's enjoy this because this is the last time we're going to see Uncle Ned. I know.
It's really too bad. I mean, great for Tom Hanks in his career, but he really was able to help Family Ties be a better show when it was mired in the doldrums of schlocky shit.
Yeah. And this was a schlocky episode that he just made so much fun to watch, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it starts off with the families in the kitchen, and in the other room we hear Jennifer playing the clarinet. Of course she's playing the clarinet because they'll give her anything to do. She plays a dozen sports. We've gone over that. And we find out that Uncle Ned is coming into town, that Alex has been really talking to his dad about trying to get him an interview for.
Oh, we just lost Scott. Oh, shit.
It's going to.
Hey, wait, Scott.
Oh,
pause for a second. We
I'm
lost
back. Oh, okay. I'm back.
So just start what you were saying from the top again.
Sure. So we start off, we find the family's in the kitchen, and in the background we hear Jennifer playing the clarinet. And she's horrible, of course. But, of course, Jennifer's playing the clarinet because they'll give her anything to do. We also find out that Uncle Ned is going to be coming into town and that Alex has really been trying for his dad to get him a job interview at the station he works at.
Yeah.
How would Ned be qualified for that?
Well, that's what I'm sort of wondering from the very get-go.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It's like, didn't he have to serve some sort of time?
They never bring it up, and it never gets addressed at all.
Mm-hmm.
We just know he's kind of been having a hard time, and they recap through dialogue. They recap everything from the two-parter from last season very quickly.
Yep. Oh, they do. They pipe that down. Somebody got a speech, and I wrote, "Wow, that's a little expository, don't you think?"
Very. Yeah.
You need a junkyard dog to be in charge of that exposition dump. Oh! That was a bridge too far. It was a bridge too far.
But you went for it.
Yeah.
And Ned arrives, and in true Ned fashion, he comes in, he's greeting everybody, he's charming as hell, he sings Uptown Girl to Mallory.
Which is a great connecting tissue to, he was on Bosom Buddies, where the theme song was a Billy Joel song, My Life.
That's right.
And he sang to Mallory the last time he came in. He sang, I think, Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon, or something. What did he?
Yeah, something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's greeting everybody. Everybody's extremely happy to see him. But already we kind of get a feeling that something's amiss because he already wants to have a beer right when he gets to the house.
He walks in the door, he's taking off his coat, and he says the word beer. It's within 30 seconds he already wants to drink.
Right.
It's a Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
And Alex gets him a six-pack. He takes one off of it. He gives that to Alex and takes the rest of the six-pack.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they mixed some OJ in with beer during this scene, didn't they? Because I wrote the word OJ down, so it must have been.
There's a lot of OJ. There's a big scene of OJ and vodka.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That we'll get to. Yeah. So, yeah, the family's excited. They talk about, so they're in the living room next, and they're playing Trivia Pursuit. And, again, Tom Hanks awesome because he has this nice subtle thing of you kind of get the feeling already Ned's had one too many a little bit. Without it being commented on, he's kind of playing it like he's already had one too many, them talking about, the geography being the topic.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a question about, ironically, there's a question about what country drinks the most beer.
I was shocked. I was shocked that West Germany drank more than America.
Yeah.
I was shocked to hear the words West Germany.
I know.
That was a blast from the past.
Yeah, I was like,
haven't heard that since fifth grade.
East Germany and West Germany. I remember that.
And so
that's my favorite is playing an old version of Trivial Pursuit where every question is about like the Soviet Union and JFK's assassination.
And Paul, I'm sure you excel at that.
I always try to search out if we're going to like a bed and breakfast. I'm like, do you guys have an old version of Trivial Pursuit?
All my answers are frozen in time, just like this game is.
Yeah.
I could kick everyone's ass if you give me an old version of Trivia
Pursuit.
Especially if you play against some of these kids. Hey, I got some 22 and 23-year-olds with me. Do you mind if we get an old version of Trivial Pursuit? That'll help me.
Yeah, good 1984 version of Trivial Pursuit.
Exactly. Everyone knows the Sharon Tate murders, but who were the other couple that were murdered the next night?
Lubyankas. I know, it's that Italian family. I know that one.
Oh, man. It looks like you're playing against the young version of Paul Packman.
It does. Paul, you could verse yourself in this. This would be amazing.
That would be intense.
But in response to West Germany drinking more beer, Ned wants another round. And so Alex goes to get him and Steven another beer. I think even Elise makes a comment like, hey, Ned, take it easy a little bit. And we find out a couple things. Ned really hasn't had a job in over a year. Elise tells them about the opportunity at Steven's station, and Ned is really excited about it.
I mean, it's crazy, though, because, like, he didn't know about this job prospect interview thing, and yet he brings a full three-piece suit with him to this family trip visit.
Doesn't make a lot
of sense. Does make a lot of sense.
But they do weave, you know what, it's so weird. They give and they take away all at the same time. That doesn't make sense, and yet they have a very nice way of weaving in motivation and story that even in this scene we start to learn Ned doesn't feel very good about himself. He's having low self-esteem. So, I mean, they're trying to give you reasons towards alcoholism, as if you need But in this case, they're trying to give him motivation to, let's give him a reason. He feels bad. He knew he fucked up in his last job. He's been having trouble holding the job down. Yeah, they don't address prison or anything else or retribution or what is it when they give money, when they have to give money back to people. They don't go with that, but they do go with, okay, he feels shitty about himself, which I'll buy.
Yeah, especially I mean, because with what has happened to him, it's probably definitely hard for him to get a job and get hired by anybody. So yeah, and he's someone that has excelled at his work, you know, and now is down on the bottom rungs. So yeah, it all makes sense. And then things get dark. Literally dark, because we're in the kitchen. Ned is sitting alone in the dark, drinking from, it looks like he's drinking gin.
Like some hard liquor. It's
from like
whiskey, scotch, something like that.
One of those bottles that you get in New York City and keep in a paper bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
The size of that bottle is. I don't know what it's called. I'm sure there's a name for it, but it's the type of thing that hobos would have.
Yes.
Right. And so Alex comes in. He's going to make a snack because he's got a big test to study for, and Ned wants him to sit down, have a drink. It'll help him study. He's kind of pushing Alex to sit down, and he also kind of keeps saying to him, "Hey, sit down. Let me help you with your test." And Tom Hanks does a pretty good job going back and forth between these emotions of angry and bitter to, "Hey, come on, I'm your pal." It really switches and glides back and forth with him.
Yeah. I mean, for me, sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the transitions are so hard and sitcom-y that it feels, you know, hard and sitcom-y. But, like, you know, the whole point is that he's drunk and that you can't negotiate with, or you can't understand where he's coming from, and he's got these terrible mood swings and stuff like that. But it just feels very fake in many ways.
There isn't a lot of trigger for him to do that. You know, like, there's not something to trigger him necessarily to be that upset or that go-lucky.
Right.
So they're out of alcohol. Ned wants to make a beer run, but that doesn't work out, and so he goes to the pantry and starts pulling out items that might possibly have alcohol in them. We get... Yeah.
I think we've all been there. You know. You run out of that last bottle of triple sec that you just happen to have, and then you start looting the pantry for what, marinated artichokes?
Maraschino cherry.
Yeah.
And of course you gotta hit the bottle of vanilla extract first.
Holy shit.
That's
I mean, that's why
holy
people are listening to this episode right now, is to talk about the vanilla extract.
extract. Oh my god.
Now,
And
if he had had bourbon vanilla extract, which happens to be delicious,
Okay.
then I can understand rummaging. Yeah, there's a small amount of alcohol, but you might as well drink, rubbing alcohol.
yeah. Right.
Doesn't that make you literally go blind? Like, if
You do something horrible, it does something terrible to you.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't go for mouthwash or something like that first before that. That would have more alcohol in it, yeah?
Absolutely, like a Listerine product of some sort. The whole
Yeah.
comes during this scene almost a typical, what we would call an angry drunk.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was sort of important to them, that we show the ugly drunk. As I always tell my improv students, if you're going to be a drunk, pick one extreme or the other, either the happy drunk or the angry drunk, because every drunk in between is incredibly dull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go one way or the other, and it's really hard. And I was really trying to rack my brain to think of TV and film in which a drunk is presented comedically. The one thing that jumped to mind was Dudley Moore in Arthur, where I thought
the main one, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I could think of, yeah.
And yet, eventually, he even had to stop drinking at the end. Or didn't. No, he didn't. He had a promise he would stop drinking, but he never did, because he went with Liza Minnelli in the end and said, fuck the money, or he was going to get the money anyway. But it's just presenting somebody as an alcoholic. You do have to, as a writer, it's very hard to go, oh, he's a soft, sweet, cuddly alcoholic. We love him.
Right.
Corey, I think I may have one. What about Otis on the Andy Griffith show?
Sure. That was before alcoholism was bad.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
Otis was a fun drunk. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, this might be the beginning of that idea that because Arthur was a few years before this, so I mean, this might have been the turning of the tide where, because I mean, they bring up things like AA, they bring up things like it's a disease. I was shocked by that.
Yes.
I was too.
That it wasn't like a personal failing or something like that. It was just like there's some stuff happening at this time in the national discussion, and
you're right, and they do sort of present it in almost an educational experience where they're trying to promote people getting help, and towards the end they had about as close as you could have to an intervention without calling it an intervention.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the idea of rehab is a fairly new idea around this time. I think now the idea, Betty Ford centers have just kind of come about, and the idea of actually feeling like I need to go somewhere to deal with this is kind of new. A little bit, instead of just stopping cold turkey. Yeah. And we see Ned get really pissed, yelling at Alex and going back and forth. He tells him to beat it. And again, we kind of this scene also reinforces the idea of Ned feeling shitty about himself. Yeah. All right. And so it's the next day. And the scene ends with a very tight shot on Alex looking extremely worried and then fading out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we go to the next day. Alex is downstairs. He didn't sleep well. Ned comes down, all bright and chipper, grabbing the OJ almost instantly.
Now, this is symbolic of how Ned's alcoholism is sort of like a cancer infecting the well-being of the Keaton household, because you have the pure orange juice, and then Ned injects it with vodka.
Yeah.
I sort of what they were presenting by Ned being almost ignoring what had happened in the prior scene and being so sunshiny during the scene. I sort of thought it was almost like an alcoholic's blackout.
Yeah, he didn't remember anything.
Yeah, we never understand or find out if he was blackout drunk or if he was just drunk enough to be emotionally volatile. But the way that he just is chipper in the morning, you would think he would at least be hungover or something. But it's almost like a Jekyll and Hyde that they're trying to present us with.
Yeah. Yeah, he has that joke of, Alex kind of said, "You don't even remember, what happened last night." And there's a good line for Tom Hanks. He said, "Oh yeah, I had that problem when I was a teenager." Well, just take a cold shower and think of Buddy Hackett.
I thought that was fun.
That was hilarious. Yeah.
I liked
I have another question to ask. If either of you can figure out who made the freaking oatmeal.
Oh. Who was eating oatmeal? Was it?
Elise has a bowl of oatmeal, and Ned has a bowl of oatmeal. Nobody made the oatmeal.
Holy shit. Maybe Ned was so drunk he came back down and made oatmeal.
My only thought is Elise came down and made the oatmeal and then went up and showered and got dressed and kept the oatmeal warm. I mean, I can rationalize it, but it did make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. And so, Alex, before Ned leaves, or Steven comes down, Ned's going to be going on for his big job interview. The girls give him a fresh pair of socks to wear for the big interview, kind of as a good luck thing. They all leave. Alex is going to catch a ride later, and Ned goes up to get ready. And that's when Alex tells Elise about he thinks Ned is an alcoholic, that he's drinking too much. Elise is really defensive about it at first, but what changes her mind is when Michael J. Fox tells her he chugged a whole bottle of vanilla extract.
I mean, it's silly, but yeah, I feel like that would be the marker of someone who is an alcoholic.
It could change your mind a little bit. You'd be like, oh, he did that? Okay.
That's just
maybe
weird.
We do need to talk.
Yeah. But I mean, how much...
That's a little weird.
How much alcohol is there in vanilla extract? Corey, did you go get a bottle of vanilla extract?
No, but I will. I have one right at hand.
Oh, Corey's going to look at the alcohol content on the vanilla.
Corey is an amazing chef, and so I figured if anyone would have some, it would be him.
I have vanilla extract, alcohol by volume, 35%.
Holy shit! Really?
Oh wow!
And this is pure. I don't get the artificial flavor stuff.
Okay.
Vanilla extract. The ingredients are vanilla bean extractives in water, alcohol, and corn syrup. So it's the second ingredient, and then it says alcohol by volume 35%. So I'm guessing if you drink a big giant bottle of pure vanilla extract, you could get a buzz.
Yeah, I mean 35%. That's like any whiskey. It's almost comparable to like Jack Daniels or something.
That's a good shot. That's a good shot right there. Yeah.
Do it.
Do it.
Pound it, Corey.
Logan comes in and he's like, "Dad, what are you?"
Oh.
Not the extract. And so Alex leaves, basically telling Elise, "You need to talk to him." And Ned comes back down, and she says, "Do I need to be?" It's kind of this conversation of, "Do I need to be worried about you? Is this getting out of control?" And he's like, "Well, if it means so much to you, I'll not drink anymore." And before that, we have the classic scene of Ned finding the vodka bottle in his coat jacket that he had forgotten, pouring it into, or infusing it, as you said, Paul, into the orange juice, losing its purity.
Yes.
And drinking it, and I just remember as a kid loving the bit of Tom Hanks talking to the vodka bottle.
Yes, that was an inspired bit of lunacy on the part of Uncle Ned.
And making the vodka bottle talk back to him. "Oh, hey, how's your friend?" It was great.
Yeah.
And Elise gets Ned to pour the vodka out, and she thinks everything's going to be okay. That Ned's in control.
And then we go to commercial. So we'll be right back. All right, so we are back, and it is the big interview with Mr. Wirtz at WKS.
Yep. And the scene starts off fairly normally. Ned is sitting down with Steven and Mr. Wirtz, and Mr. Wirtz is impressed with Ned's resume. Once again, have no idea what his qualifications for being at the studio are, but he's impressed.
I just want to say, they say that Mr. Wirtz is tough but fair, but he never gave Steven any shit for sexually harassing that PA. Not once was he like, you know, Steven, we saw on the interoffice cameras that you were making out with Judith Light. What's that about?
You know this can't happen at work.
Our departments.
And then Mr. Wertz asked Ned to kind of comment on his recent problems with the last job that he had at. And Ned goes, well, I think I could best describe it with music. And he pulls out Jennifer's clarinet. And then we know this scene is going to get batshit crazy, and it does.
That's exactly when I wrote down, boy, he's acting erratically for an interview.
Yeah, indeed. Maybe he might have had a drink before this interview.
You think?
So then the scene devolves into a one-man Marx Brothers routine where Ned is like pulling his chair on the other side of the desk, and then he yells at Steven, and then he crawls under the desk, and he's doing like the hat routine from Duck Soup, and it's just like, holy shit, what is happening here? I've never been drunk and done my own comic routine for vaudeville.
And he's like, he shifts into being the boss, interviewing Steven or interviewing Mr. Wertz. It's crazy. It's crazy. Mr. Wertz notices that he doesn't have any socks on. He pulls the socks out of his pocket that Jennifer and Mallory gave him and said, yeah, they're right here. You described it perfectly, Paul. It's a Marx Brothers routine.
Yeah.
Needless to say, Ned blows the interview. He leaves,
Understatement of the year goes
to
to
says, I think this interview
Scott Jones.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Mr. Wertz says, hey, I think this interview is over. And Ned's like, well, I'll have my people call your people, and walks out the door. All right? And then we are back home in the living room for the final confrontation of dealing with Ned's drinking. Steven comes home, upset, obviously, tells Elise what had happened. He was drunk. He didn't have socks on. I love he put those two together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like that was part of the crowning problem of the whole thing. It was
right.
The drunkenness and the socks.
It wasn't that it wasn't that he was drunk and he pulled out a clarinet to play a song. It was he was drunk and didn't have socks.
You don't want to bury the lead on these stories, Scott.
No. So Alex is in the room too. They're all concerned. Ned comes in with a bottle of champagne, acting like he got the job and he's going to start work on Monday.
I just want to know where he got this bottle of champagne if he hasn't had a job for a year.
Yeah. Where's that money coming from?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they all try to sit Ned down and kind of talk to him about his drinking and everything. He's obviously defensive. They bring up AA, like we were talking about. Steven addresses that you have a disease, which we were again shocked by. I'm really impressed that they actually said that. And Ned goes into these monologues of just about why he feels so shitty about himself.
Yeah. Oh, there's this one line that, like, at the end of Steven being like, "You're sick, you have a disease, and if you keep this up, you're going to die." And Tom Hanks does this amazing reading of his response where he just goes, "I don't care."
Yeah.
And it's like, oh wow, what a nice, you really get the underlying self-loathing that Ned Donnelly has.
That's right. I wrote down self-hate. That's all. It's amazing self-hate in this scene.
Yeah.
It also proves something, having bartended for 25 years, drunk is never cute. As a bartender, I can tell you, drunk, and that's the thing that I burnt out on bartending. It really wasn't the customer service. It's the fact that drunk just isn't cute after a while. And the fact that you're giving people drinks and turning them into angry, not cute people, it gets very soul-sucking after a while. And I agree. I just think it's like they did a lot of nice things in the scene, and I thought they were a good advertisement for AA and 12-step programs, and I thought they did a good job.
Totally.
Absolutely. And also, Corey, to kind of go along with it, having bartended, being around drunks like that is also extremely stressful.
It is.
Like, you're not just, when you have too many people at your bar that are just drunk, it's really stressful because you just don't know what's going to happen.
You got to walk on eggshells around them because they're drunk.
Mm-hmm. and having to tell them we're cutting you off.
Right.
That's
And then they get
always
angry at
just
you, like it's your
so.
fault.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, with regulars and stuff like that as a bartender, was that especially depressing to have like someone that you see every day? They come in one way, leave a completely different way, and you're the one doing it, and all those different factors. Is that also very like a hard thing to take?
Yep, and it's especially hard when your regulars are your finances. You know, I had a couple that came in and drank with me almost every night, and most nights I'd get $40 or $50 from them, except if I cut them off.
Right.
And if I cut them off, they were drinking the most. So I'd get tipped the least when they were drinking the most.
Right.
Because
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never talked to my dad about it, but like, you know, at the store that we had, we sold cigarettes, and it was a very working class area where, you know, my parents were from surrounding area. You know, they've known these people since they were kids type thing. And so like you're selling these people a pack a day or whatever, and then, you know, 20 years on, I knew a lot of people who died, and my dad knew a lot of old people.
Because he was the pusher. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, because they are the people that give you your income, and they're your friends because you see them all the time. It's just such a weird dynamic, and it's I don't know. It's very hard to put your own psychological understanding of that dynamic.
Now, my gut feeling is that they debated the key moment of this scene over and over again. That it wasn't. I don't think they knew it was necessarily going here, and then when it did, it just, I don't know, it bugged me.
What, the where it gets violent?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, where it goes.
Yeah.
I'm just not necessarily sure that it was, I don't know, here's my lack of knowledge about angry drunks. Really? His nephew?
Yeah, it felt like it was already in the place it needed to be, and then it goes here, because what happens is Alex shows Ned these articles that inspired him, the things that Ned accomplished, like speaking at the World Bank. And Ned gets upset and is like, this is history. This is ancient history. He starts throwing him in the fire, and Alex goes over him to, you know, tell him to stop. And he's like, leave me alone. And he keeps doing it, and Alex tries to stop him, and Ned just yells, leave me alone, and smacks the shit out of Alex. Michael J. Fox
across the room.
He flies across the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes to this place, and I guess it was them trying to really hit their point, but it already kind of was there. Like, Tom Hanks' monologues about how shitty he felt about himself kind of did it for me. I was like, okay, I'm here. You have this pathetic drunk who's realizing that there's problems. But then he smacks the shit out of Alex, and Tom Hanks is blubbering of why would I do that? Why would I do that? Why did I hit Alex? And Steven says, you either call AA or you get the hell out of my house.
No. A very different Michael Gross than we've ever seen before.
Yeah, there was fire in his eyes. Like, he was about to strangle Ned. Yeah. And so Elise hands him the number. Uncle Ned goes over to the phone. He calls AA, makes a little joke about Columbia Magazine, and then says, hello, my name is Ned Donnelly, and I'm alcoholic.
And then it just goes to credits, and that's it.
Yep, the quietness of a very special episode.
No. But you know what? It was the fact that like the audience didn't laugh at the Columbia House thing and stuff like that. That was nice because 80s audiences apparently were the dumbest people ever. And it was just nice that they had the sensitivity to just let it be that this is his character. He makes jokes as a self-defense mechanism, and that it's, you know, instead of being like, oh, we're back to how we like it when Tom Hanks makes jokes. So that was nice. But like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they wanted it to be a point of no return for the character, and you can talk about ideas, but I don't know. I don't know. The awkwardness that where the scene goes, like from the hit to the credits, it just felt so uncomfortable, and I don't know if I liked it or not, but it was very effective.
I didn't like it, but I thought it was effective.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. You know, this is the Tom Hanks episode we were excited to see, but looking back on it, I liked the two-parter from season 1 better. I enjoyed it a lot more.
Yeah, it was a lot more fun.
It's just weird. Yeah, just more fun to watch. This, all that jokey, there's this undertone with this episode, all the jokey stuff Ned does, you kind of see that it's because he's in pain. And so it's not quite as fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah.
Corey, what would you do differently? Do you just keep it where it was before the moment?
Yeah, I would. I would have. I agree with Scott. I thought they accomplished whatever they needed to accomplish. And I understand raising the stakes. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes to me it's like, I thought the stakes were pretty high right there anyway. I don't know if you need to lash out and hit Alex.
Yeah. You know what was
because
interesting too? Oh, sorry, Scott.
No, go ahead.
It was interesting too that Michael J. Fox spends the rest of the show with his hands on his face.
like traumatized by this experience.
It was the weirdest thing. It was really odd.
It was.
Yeah, and you're raising the stakes with like barely a minute left in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Why raise it there? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you already had this scene before where he's yelling at Alex, and that was jarring enough of him just, listen, buddy, we got it, we saw it. So to have him smack the shit out of Alex, and this was just way too late in the episode and too outside the box, too jarring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But man, am I going to miss Tom Hanks.
Yeah. I mean, he goes on to do Splash, and then that's all she wrote.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. He's a movie star at that point.
Yeah.
Well, guys, let's have a toast and remember Tom Hanks from Family Ties.
Vanilla extract, a mimed glass of water.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Did you actually drink it?
No, gosh.
Okay.
Oh.
Good. You sold it, Corey. You totally sold it.
Yeah, I put the whole bottle in my mouth.
There you go. All right, everyone, be sure to rate and review our show on iTunes. And for questions and comments, be sure to follow us on Twitter at QTWFT. We're also each on Twitter. I'm at Follow Jones.
I'm at Paul Packler.
And I'm at Corpep.
And be sure to like our Facebook page. We like to thank our producer, Barbara Dillon at Fanboy Comics. Fanboy Comics is an online conglomerate of geek media providing its readers with daily insights to the pop culture spectrum. We also like to thank Perry Adams, who beautifully performs the song Without Us. Check out Perry's music at perryadams.com. We also like to thank Brian Dillon. Brian is the president and co-founder of Fanboy Comics. And lastly, we like to thank Sean Foster at Fanboy Comics, who designed our logo. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.